I've always suffered with mental health problems my whole life, but I didn't really know what it was. Even as a kid, I used to have anxiety, and I'd have that feeling of being left alone and being just anxious all the time. And I didn't know what it was until I got diagnosed like at 29 years old or something. For me, especially, like, I come from a fighting family where everyone's like a tough guy. Nobody speaks about their feelings, and especially like not to come out with something like, oh, I've got mental health problems. And for me as well, like, all my friends, family and things, they look at me like I'm some sort of superhero. They don't never think of me as a man, as a normal person. So when I come out with all that sort of stuff, everyone's like, what? This person's got like weakness or whatever? And I didn't see it as a weakness, because I thought, I can't suffer in silence anymore. For a long, long, long period of time, I used to bottle it all up, and it come to a point where it was just an explosion, like shaking a bottle of champagne up, and it just exploded.
And presumably you weren't comfortable at that stage, anyway, talking to Paris about these things.
No, everyone thought I was like an attention seeker, or they didn't really understand it, because none of my family had any education on mental health problems, so they didn't know what it really was. Just the usual stigma on mental health. A lot of people are uneducated on the matter. They don't understand what it is, and
also
just because you can't
coming
see
from
it.
a working class family, there's that feeling almost like it's a weakness, like it's something you should be ashamed of, or you should...
Yeah, it was like, well, if you've got this, keep it to yourself, then don't broadcast it.
Don't tell the neighbours, yeah.
Exactly. But I decided to go against all that good advice. And I thought, you know what, there's got to be other people out there like me suffering. And even if I help one person, I'll feel better. I was depressed as depressed could be on a daily basis. And I'm thinking, why am I feeling like this? I don't have no reason to feel like it. Some people will say, oh, well, it's attention seeking or whatever. But unless you've experienced what I'm saying, it's sort of impossible to understand where I've been or where I've come from. And it just went from bad to worse. I hit the drink heavily on a daily basis. I hit the drugs. I was out all night partying with women of the night and not coming home. And, you know, I didn't care about boxing. I didn't care about living. I just wanted to die. And I was going to have a good time doing it while I was doing it. I used to drink and take drugs to get away from the depression, because when I was drunk or high, then I wouldn't think about being depressed. I thought about being, I'm a boxing champion, or I feel great. But as we know, when the drink wears off, it only leaves you with a bad hangover and feeling even more depressed. For someone who suffers with mental health, the worst thing we can do to escape it is take drugs or alcohol.
But yeah, that's the most common approach.
And that's the common approach, because people, we don't know, because it's not spoke about. And this is where I want to spread the word on mental health, so when other people are in this position in the future, they know where to go and they know what to do, because there's a blueprint. I just wanted to show the world that if mental health could bring somebody as big as me and as strong as me and, you know, the stereotype heavyweight champion of the world to my knees, then it could bring anybody to the knees. And I thought to myself, if I can show the world that you can come back from it and to get back in shape and get back to the top, then anybody can do it. I've experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows in life.
Let's talk about one of the highest highs, what was supposed to be the highest, when you shocked the boxing world, upsetting Vladimir Klitschko November 2015 to become the man who beat the man, lineal heavyweight champion. You were on top of the world, right?
Growing up, that was my lifetime ambition, to beat Vladimir Klitschko, to be heavyweight champion of the world. You know, I went over to Germany and it didn't feel like I was doing a great thing. Something I'd worked for my whole life, and when I finally achieved it, it was like, oh well, that was a load of rubbish. I wasn't expecting now to feel like this. And like I said to you before, I just felt like an emptiness, a deep gaping hole of nothing. Darkness and grey clouds. Every day was grey. Every day I woke up after that fight, even before the fight, for a long time would be grey days. And I felt like I had nothing to look forward to. I was worthless. It was just a horrible, horrible feeling that people need to understand that many, many people are in the same boat. They don't have to be very successful sports athletes to feel like this. Anybody from day to day has the same feelings. And I believe that if enough people talk about it, then it's going to raise more and more and more awareness. And sooner or later, this crisis will have to be addressed properly. I'd go very, very, very low at times, very low. And I'd start thinking all these crazy thoughts and this, that and the other. And I was in my car, I bought a brand new Ferrari convertible in the summer of 2016. And I was in it and I was on the highway. and there's a strip of the highway where I am, and at the bottom of about a 5-mile strip, there's a massive bridge that crosses the motorway. And I knew that, and I got the car up to 190 miles an hour. I was heading towards that bridge, and I didn't care what no one was thinking. I didn't care about hurting me family, me career, people who friends, anybody. I didn't care. I didn't care about nothing. I just wanted to die so bad. I give up on life. And just as I was heading towards that bridge at 190 in this Ferrari, it had crushed like a Coke can, by the way, if I'd have hit it. I heard a voice say, no, don't do this, Tyson. Think about your kids. Think about your family and your little boys and girls growing up with no father. And everyone saying your dad was a weak man. He left yous. He took the easy way out because he couldn't do anything about it. And before I turned into the bridge, I pulled on the motorway and I was shaking. I could feel myself shaking, and I pulled over and I was all nervous and I didn't know what to do, and I was frightened and I was so afraid. And I thought, that day, I'll never, ever, ever try or think about taking my own life ever again. And I didn't. I went and got help from the leading psychiatrist, doctor in the UK. And my dad went up with me, and she said to me dad, she said, can I have a word alone with you, John? He said, yeah. My dad told me what she said when he came out. She said, he is not to be trusted alone. He's an imminent death risk. That's the highest level of suicide risk that she'd ever assisted. And she said, without his faith, he would have been dead a long time ago. But she said, faith alone ain't going to hold him, because that's going to break. And once that goes, he's done. So that put my dad's life terror as well, because he was checking up on me all the time. He wanted to be with me 24/7. He was even sleeping in my house with me. A married man with 4 kids. I was in a right state. You know, and you really find out who your friends are, who the people are really behind you, who leaves, who jumps off, and everybody just loves a winner. Nobody wants to be around a loser. Nobody wants to be around a man who's lost his mind. So you really find out who your friends are. The people who call you in distress when you're down and you're out and you don't have any more to offer to them. So I suppose I got to see that side of everything without being beaten in a boxing ring first. So then on the comeback, I have the smallest team ever. The people who were there for me when I was gone, when I was out. You know, before I used to take everything and think, oh, I want this, I want that. I was never happy with what I got. It's human nature, we always want more. And now it's like, I don't care if I lose everything. I don't care what happens. Nothing really is ours anyway in life. We only borrow it until we die, and it all goes. Yep. The only thing we truly own in this life is moments in time. Like, this is a moment in time for me that will never be erased. And no matter what happens, this is always going to be my time. This will be my moment in time because I lived here and I was a part of this.